everyone, this is Dr. Rajalakshmi, Assistant Professor of English from Sitalakshmi Ramaswamy College, Trichy. In today's video, we'll discuss about strategies to be adopted for effective business presentation. So what is presentation? Presentation is a demonstration or a lecture or a speech meant to inform, persuade, to inspire and motivate. Presentation uses both verbal and non-verbal language. Usually, short presentations are given within 15 to 20 minutes in an academic and professional environment where a subject expert delivers a presentation providing information about a chosen topic. And a presentation must have a definite purpose, or shall I say, an objective, and a presentation has to be interactive and informative. It would be always better if you know your audience so that you can prepare your contents well in advance. And your presentation has to be sequential. The style to be adopted in your presentation has to be lively. And yes, you have to collect sufficient information and assimilate. So these are some of the tips to make a good presentation. Now research your presentation. If you have been asked to give a presentation on a topic, probably it might be your area of expertise. But there might be areas where you need a little more knowledge. So what you have to do, you have to research your presentation. So you have to break the subject topic, or you have to break your presentation into smaller chunks or smaller questions. For example, you're going to give a presentation on benefits of advertising your company on social media in the previous quarter. So you can consider the following research questions like what advertising on social media have we done this quarter? How is this different from what we did in the previous quarter? What would we consider a successful outcome from this advertising? So you can consider these research questions. So what you have to do is you have to break the subject topic, or you have to break the presentation into smaller questions so that your approach will become more organized. And you have to plan your presentation, which means you have to make yourself a very simple plan. You can start by writing down your introduction. You can add 3 to 4 points you want audience to take away from your talk, and if necessary you can also add sub points and decide how much time you're going to spend on each section. And in short, I can say that you have to prepare a script of what you're going to discuss in your presentation. And the most important thing to be noted is you have to use simple language in your presentation. The language you use must be comprehensible. And then learn key phrases beforehand. Now you have written a script, the script is with you. The important thing is you should not memorize word by word. Because forgetting even a single word might throw you off balance. So rather than stuffing your brain with too much of information, it would be better if you learn just the key phrases alone. Even if you feel like you lose your track or forget something, you can skip ahead to the next point and always resume your presentation. So you have to learn just the key phrases alone. Don't memorize. Nowadays, people use slide deck when to present their business ideas. There are other presentation softwares like Google Slides, PPT, Slidebean, which are considered to be fast and free softwares. Other softwares like Keynote, Visme. Visme creates highly visual presentations to communicate your ideas, and there is a software called Haiku Deck which always prioritizes simplicity. And other presentation softwares or Canvas like Camp, Powtoon, Microsoft Events, Prezi, Extensio, Zoho Show, Beyond. So these are other softwares for presentation. So if you have this option, it's always great to capture your audience attention. And while preparing slides, you should not overcrowd your slides, and it will be better if you keep them to bullet points. So to reinforce your points, it would be better if you keep something to, if you keep something for the audience to look at. Then practice. The more you practice, the more confident you'll be on the day of the presentation. So what you have to do is you have to practice, 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 because practice makes a man perfect. You can record your presentation and watch it back so that you can improve your accent and pronunciation, or else you can ask your friends or colleagues to watch your recording and ask them to offer feedback. Anticipating questions is a good thing because asking questions are a sign that your audience was listening. So it would be better if you plan to have a question answer section at the end of your presentation. And moreover, your presentation should not end with an awkward silence. Even you don't need to get embarrassed if the audience does not ask any question, because it shows that I have given a crystal clear presentation and I have covered. I mean, you might have covered what all they need to know. So you don't need to get embarrassed if the audience does not ask any questions. Consider your body language, means your gesture speaks a lot more than your words during your presentation. Some people gesture a lot when they become nervous, and this can be distracting. So it would be better if you try to manage your anxiety. What you have to do, you just have to be calm and composed before presentation, and also remember to have a glass of water on standby during your talk in case your mouth goes dry. For we have discussed what are the things you have to have in your mind before presentation. Now, during your presentation, what are the things you have to do? So let's discuss how to structure your presentation. First and the foremost thing is you have to welcome your audience. So you have to open your presentation with a greeting, and you have to thank audience for coming. I mean, you have to thank audience for attending your presentation. You can say like, good morning everyone. Thanks for coming. On behalf of Lego. Lego is a name of a company or an institution or organization which you need to mention. I welcome you all to our offices. Or else just you can say, hello everyone, I'm delighted to be speaking with you today. So like that you have to welcome your audience. Next thing you have to give the topic of your presentation. See, your audience knows very well why they are there. So it will be better if you restate your topic briefly. So how to say this? You can say like, in this presentation, I'm going to walk you through some of the best practices in CPC advertising. So suppose if you're going to do a presentation on best practices in CPC advertising, these are some of the ways you can say. Uh, as you all know, I'm going to talk about some of the best practices in CPC advertising. CPC stands for cost per click. That is, you have to pay for each click on your ads. So, or else you can say for the next 45 minutes, I'm going to be speaking to you about the best practices in CPC advertising. Like that, you can use any of the ways to restating a topic. And then you have to introduce yourself. While introducing yourself, you have to tell your name, your designation, and also the company you're associated with. For example, you can say like, to introduce myself, I'm Kenny, head of marketing at Lego. You can also add a little bit about your background if you wish, or else you can ignore. Or else simply you can say, my name is Kenny Jones and I'm the head of marketing here. And you have to give a roadmap for the presentation. See, even if your presentation is too short, it will be helpful for the audience to know what you plan to discuss in your presentation. So we can say like, my presentation will take about 45 minutes and is divided into 4 sections. A section is going to discuss, like that you can give a roadmap for the presentation. Because rather than hearing an endless stream of information, it will be better if you reveal what you plan to discuss to the audience. Uh, One of the best ways of giving a roadmap is, you can say like, since we have 45 minutes to discuss about this huge topic, I'm going to keep things brief. This talk will be divided into 4 sections to start off, like that you can say. Then the question policy and any rules. As I already said, questions are a sign that your audience was listening. So it would be better if you state your expectations. For example, if you want your audience to ask questions at the end of the presentation, it would be better to state your expectations beforehand. And you have to consider whether you need to announce any rules about audience behavior. We can say like, if you have any questions about anything, please wait until the end of the presentation. We'll have open discussion at the end. If you don't want audience to interrupt you in between your presentation, you can say this. Or else you can say like, I'll be happy to answer any questions at the end of my talk. or else you can say feel free to interrupt if you have any questions. Now you have to begin the main body of your presentation. Now your audience now has a good idea of who you are and what to expect. Now there is a room full of eyes waiting to hear your expertise. So what you have to do, how to begin the body of your presentation. You can begin your presentation by posing a question to the audience, or else you can narrate an anecdote, or else you can say an interesting quote. For example, you can say without further ado, or else you can say let's get started, or else you can say let's kick things off. Now you have to introduce your visual aids. As I already told you, in order to restate your topic, you have to give. You have to give your audience something to look at. So if you're showing a graph to an audience, you can say, if you look at this graph, you will see. Or else if you're showing a chart to the audience, you can say, from this chart, we can understand how, like that you can say. Or else you can say, as you can see from this infographic, our research indicates, like that you can use. And then ending the presentation. Business presentations always end with a summary. Uh, to wrap up your presentation, we can say like, well, that concludes my presentation today. To refresh your memory, the main takeaways are the following, like that you can say. Or else you can say that brings me to the end of my presentation. I hope you're clear on what is CPC advertising and when to use it, like that you can end your presentation. The most important thing is you have to involve the audience in the discussion. After your presentation gets over, you have to thank audience for their attention, and also you have to invite audience to ask you for clarifications. You can say like, I'd now like to open up the floor to questions. So just raise your hand if there's anything else you want to know. Or else you can say thank you for listening. We have 5 minutes left over. Are there any questions like that you can ask? That's it for today. Thank you so much for your attention. I sincerely hope that you found this video useful.